Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, today I speak about a reasonably little-known condition, Fragile X, and the incredible people we have living in our communities with its effects. The Fragile X group of disorders are a family of inherited conditions caused by alterations in a gene which is located on the X-Chromosome, hence the name Fragile X. These disorders include a wide range of physical, intellectual and behavioural symptoms. According to the Fragile X Association of Australia, an organisation which supports people living with the condition and their families and advocates for greater awareness and research, about 90,000 people in Australia are impacted by Fragile X in some way. Some are carriers and some have the condition itself. Being associated with the X chromosome, both males and females can be carriers of the Fragile X gene alteration, and the syndrome is the leading cause of inherited intellectual disability. It affects about 1 in every 4,000 males and about 1 in every 6,000 females. However, 1 in 250 women and 1 in 800 men are permutation carriers of the gene alteration. This is not an insignificant number of people. For males, the Fragile X disorder can manifest by being associated with physical disabilities or mental disorders like autism spectrum disorders, attention deficit hyperactivity disorders, mood instability and developmental delay or learning difficulties. In females, it manifests differently, and about 1/3 of females results in significant intellectual disability. Mr. President, it's likely that every person in this place knows at least one person who is affected in some way by Fragile X. This brings me to some of the incredible people in our communities who are working towards raising greater awareness of the condition. On the 21st of July this year, Jo Ryan and her son Ben, who has the Fragile X disorder, coordinated an event in Launceston to bathe the town hall in orange light, being the colour of Fragile X awareness. Even on this chilly winter's night, we had an excellent turnout, dressed in orange and holding orange balloons to bring greater knowledge to our community for people who are affected by Fragile X. Ben Gower, a young man in Launceston, was adopted by Jo Ryan and her husband in 1989. With 3 days' notice, Jo and her husband had an amazing time getting to know their beautiful little boy. So it was easy to overlook Ben missing his first milestone or two. However, when Ben wasn't walking or talking way past the point it would be expected, they sought help. After a long while of tests, a paediatric specialist in Launceston diagnosed Ben through DNA, but it wasn't until they discovered the Fragile X clinic in Melbourne that they learned what they would be in for. It explained everything. Ben had difficulty in school and connecting with his peers. As a naturally kind, understanding and confident little boy, his difficulties in achieving scholastic milestones made it necessary for him to go to a special school throughout his childhood. When he reached Newstead College, however, Ben really began to shine as he worked out what he loved and what he was good at. The challenge then was finding the point at which what he loved doing intersected with what job opportunities were available. Not being defined in any way by his conditions, Ben's personality of an outgoing, confident and deeply conscientious and thoughtful young man allowed him to pick up some odd jobs with guns and the city of Launceston, working outside and with great pride and dedication. Not content with just taking on paid work, Ben also volunteers with Meals on Wheels and with the Mowbray Golf Club, where he has a well-developed and accurate swing, Mr. President. Ben now has a permanent job at Coles, which he loves, and where he's adored by the staff and customers. He's always willing to lend a hand, and he's not afraid of asking if you need help with something. That's just who he is. Mr. President, I believe it's important to shine a light on the Fragile X disorder and the conditions with which it's associated. I encourage everyone to find out more information from Fragile X Association of Australia online so that we can better understand and appreciate the people who are living with it or affected by it. Thank you, Mr. President.
I've met Ben. He's a lovely young man.
I saw Ben recently on my scooter, and the one thing he wanted to do was have a turn on my scooter. He couldn't quite understand that I needed it, but he just said, I want to have a go on Rosemary's scooter.
We're all a bit like that, really.
Thank you, Mr. President.